Till next year. Another season of what ifs, what happened, and what in the world can they do? Game over. They do it again to the Blue Jays. But instead of what went wrong, perhaps it's best to look at what went right. And this is gone. It's a home run. Ball game over, and the Blue Jays win it. And if today's pain means tomorrow's gain, perhaps next year at this time, the Toronto Blue Jays will finally enjoy a sunrise in October. You can only hope. With Jays and Mariners going down swinging, next on TSN. And here we go, final home game of the regular season. The Blue Jays will end the 2009 campaign on the road. And we are at Rogers Center. The lid is off, expecting a good crowd today. Send-off for the Blue Jays of '09 in high definition. Last night, how about this? Even though this team is playing it out, it's been a disappointing season in so many ways. There's still a little emotion in those Toronto Blue Jays. And hi, everybody. Rod Black, along with Pat Tabler, in a season that had a lot of ups and downs, certainly a lot of downs in the loss column, a lot of positives for the Blue Jays in terms of youth. That was very interesting to see yesterday.
Yeah, it really was. You know, it was fun to see the emotion that the Blue Jays put out throughout that game, and then especially at the end of the game. When Adam Lynn went deep in the 8th inning, with Aaron Hill aboard, this home run slicing down the line. How many times have we seen Lynn do that this year? Right down the line. And then this one to end it. High, majestic home run into the bullpen as he came into home plate. The emotion that the Blue Jays put on, that was a lot of fun to watch and witness. And the thing about Adam Lynn that has been so impressive this year is how steady he has been this year. Look at the numbers from April through September. RBIs 20 in April, got off to a great start. Well, he's matched that in September. He has just been a steady offensive player this year.
Adam Lynn, one of those positives as the Blue Jays look towards 2010. Here are our starting pitchers today.
Ryan Rowland-Smith, the 26-year-old, makes his 26th Major League start. His third start against the Blue Jays. He's 1-0 in his career. Brian Talent looking to get that 8th win and bring that earned run average down. He had a no decision his last time out against Baltimore.
So as we look ahead to next season already, the Blue Jays play it out. And today at Rogers Center, their fans get to say so long to the Birds. We will play ball, the Mariners and the Blue Jays, coming your way next on TSN 2.
Us. Ya coño.
Rogers Center. Can you believe it, Pat Tabler? 6 months. Just like yesterday, we had spring training, and you correctly predicted that the Toronto Blue Jays would have a fourth-place finish. And I know a lot of Blue Jay fans probably thought that it would be better, especially after an early start, but it didn't turn out that way. Through the broadcast today, I bequeath to you the opportunity to present your top 10, Tabby's top 10 of 2009.
The plays, the walk-offs, the great performances, the great days. Now, there was a couple of them that didn't make it, and maybe we should start talking about those. Randy Ruiz, long home run in New York, did not make it. Aaron Hill's 30th home run of the season, I think, was a big one. Scott Richmond had 11 strikeouts against Philadelphia. I'm sorry, Scott, that did not make our top 10, but it's just outside.
Well, it's a huge voting panel.
Yes. And I worked long and hard on this now, so we should have some fun with this.
Yeah, so we'll show you the top 10 from Tabby throughout the broadcast. Here's our 9 players for the Seattle Mariners. Hitting order today. Ichiro ejected for the first time in his career yesterday. Unbelievably. First time a Mariner's been ejected all season. Future Hall of Famer leading off. Franklin Gutierrez, center fielder. Last 8 games, just under 400. Then Jose Lopez, Mike Sweeney, Adrian Beltre, and the rest of the Seattle Mariners, who won the opener of this 4-game set, lost the last 2, and the Blue Jays won in dramatic fashion last night. And Brian Talent gets the ball today.
Trying to win the series. He is 2-1 with an ERA right around 7 in 5 outings since being moved back into the starting rotation. Talent allowed 5 runs and 11 hits, pitching into the 7th inning before the Jays came back to beat Baltimore 6-5 in 11 innings. That was back on Thursday. Rob Barajas back behind the dish this afternoon, catching Brian Talent. The scouting report for the tall left-hander. He's using cutters with his fastball. I think that's very important. He's used that to get in on right-handers, so his fastball will cut. He's got to get the Mariners to chase that change. He's got a good one, and when it's diving down and out of the strike zone, he'll get a lot of strikeouts there. And lefty problems. Lefty's hitting 295 against Brian. Right-handers just 262 against him. So here we go. Ichiro steps in.
Yesterday, banished from the ballgame for the first time in his career. Even in Japan, was never ejected. But Ichiro will step in, the always dangerous Ichiro Suzuki. Second in the American League with a .353 batting average. Always 200 hits a season. Here's our first pitch. And a beautiful day in downtown Toronto. Chaos outside with the marathon being run and traffic, so it's maybe some latecomers coming in. Here's Tony Randazzo behind the plate. He's the home plate umpire today.
You mentioned Ichiro at .353. He will finish over 300, and that will give the Mariners now 21 consecutive seasons of having at least one 300 hitter. A 300 hitter dating back to 1989. That streak is the current longest in the major leagues.
Ichiro Suzuki with a batting style that you probably wouldn't preach or teach to your kid, but it works for this guy.
Yeah, I would not. You know, if I'm setting down the fundamentals of hitting, I couldn't teach it the way he does it, but he is so successful in the way that he does it. First out, a little lazy fly ball to right field. Let's take a look at the defense for the Blue Jays this afternoon. Travis Snyder, who made a couple of nice plays in the field, will get the start again in left field, be joined by Vernon Wells, who made his first error of the season yesterday. In the infield, McDonald and Hill turned some double plays. Blue Jays, 7 of them in this series so far. Encarnacion and Millar with the start on the corners, and there's the battery today. Talent and Barajas.
And no Adam Lind in the hitting lineup today for the Blue Jays, has the day off. Franklin Gutierrez. Native of Venezuela. Career high season for Gutierrez. It's been a good season for the Seattle Mariners. Out of the playoff race, but certainly better than what they went through the last couple of seasons.
Team that lost 100 games last year, and they're going to finish over 500, it looks like.
Doesn't happen very often.
It certainly doesn't. Maybe a dozen times in Major League history it has happened. Gutierrez has added to that.
The 9th player with at least 15 home runs and 15 stolen bases in their history.
Just missing outside. 2 balls and a strike to Gutierrez.
Don Wakamatsu has done a good job his first year managing. They have had a great year pitching wise. They've had some seasons offensively that have been good. Suzuki and Franklin Gutierrez need a little bit more power and produce a little bit more runs offensively, because they play good defense, and they can certainly pitch.
Those big mutton chops of Brian Talent, Wolverine-like. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Fouled away. Brian Talent, who's been a yo-yo this season, back and forth from the bullpen to the rotation.
He's done a good job too, Rod. From the bullpen to starting, back to the bullpen, now starting again. That is hard on a pitcher physically, having to get your arm in shape for one job and then switching and doing something else. Building up your arm strength as a starter and then going to the bullpen. You might sit around for 3, 4, 5 days before you get in and pitch, and then they ask you to throw 3 innings. It's tough to do. He has handled it well, I think.
Does not want to lose Gutierrez. Jose Lopez next, then Mike Sweeney. 3-2 pitch. And right to Johnny Mack. Maybe a little wizardry from Johnny Mack today would be in order. Final game of the regular season at home.
And you got to figure he is in the top 10 somewhere. He has played good shortstop since Marco Scutaro got hurt a week ago. Plucks that one right off the field turf for the second out.
Last year he was a highlight reel every day. Not as much playing time this year for John McDonald. Here's Lopez. Of course, with Marco Scutaro having a breakthrough season. And Scutaro having foot problems lately. I guess a big question for the Blue Jays in the offseason is what will become of Marco Scutaro, potential free agent. He's going to demand a lot on the market.
You know, and I think if you're the Blue Jays, you have to play it like he is going to sign somewhere else, and you have to have plan B ready.
And I know a lot of Blue Jay fans would love to have Marco Scutaro back, but as a general manager and as an organization, a guy who's turning 34, this has really been his one good year.
Those are the decisions that are going to be paramount in the offseason of where this team goes. You have to have a good shortstop.
Broken bat, little looper. Bautista coming, and he just in front of him, and it maybe bounced and maybe hit him in the head there. Is he all right? Base hit for Lopez. But what an effort by Bautista, who made a great catch yesterday up against the wall.
Great catch, and he's made some great throws this year, and he almost comes up with a circus catch here. Cito Gaston says he gets great jumps on the ball. He did here, and he came that close to picking that one off the turf and making an out. Ball stays right in front of him after it ricochets off of his face. So Lopez just stays at first base.
Here's Mike Sweeney now. 2 for 5 with an RBI yesterday.
Sweeney has been hurt in his career. He's been hurt this year, and he got off to just an awful start. In his last 22 games, though, Rod, he is hitting 400 and with extra base power. 9 extra base hits, 12 RBIs. On August 13th, Rod, he was hitting 228. And then in the last 22 games, he has done what you just saw there to lift his average to 283. He has had 11 multi-hit games over his last 22. He is hitting 16 of those games. This time it goes right off of his foot. We saw Halliday do this, I think, 4, 5, 6 times the other night.
Encarnacion will make the play over to Aaron Hill, and that's it. Only the base hit by Jose Lopez. The Blue Jays will come to the plate now in the bottom of the first in their final home game of the 2009 season. After being the hero yesterday, 2 home runs, including the walk-off shot, the 10th inning yesterday. Cito Gaston's lineup today: Jose Bautista leading off again, Marcos Scudero out of the lineup, Aaron Hill, 10-game hit streak, breakthrough season, comeback player of the year likely. Edwin Encarnacion bats third, Vernon Wells heating up in September, Randy Ruiz in the DH spot, Rod Barajas, Kevin Millar, Travis Snyder. Last 10 games, good numbers, and Johnny Mack.
That is the lineup that Rowan Smith will face. The left-hander, he had trouble in his last start with his control. He gave up 3 runs, walked 4 and 5 innings, but he picked up a no decision as his offense picked him up.
Jose Bautista, yesterday a home run, his 8th of the season. Boy, did he ever contribute yesterday with the stick and with the glove. Got under this one. And Ichiro battling that sun. A little hazy day here today. You see the way he did that, kind of looking back,
he turned,
and angled himself.
Yeah, trying to get that sun on the side where you can get your glove up there and block it out. There are the numbers for Ryan Rowan Smith. He ran his pitch count up to 113 before leaving and snapping a string of 5 straight quality starts in his last start. Just his 14th this year. He's had some injury problems where he had to be put on the disabled list. That was in his first start of the season, Rod. He hurt himself against Oakland and then did not return. That was April 10th. Did not return until July the 24th.
Aaron Hill, 34 home runs under this one as well. And again, battling that haze. Take a look at Wilson there. Makes the catch, Josh Wilson, but obviously that sun where it is right now is going to be troublesome early in this ball game.
They also have the lights on, too. Let's take a little closer look at the 26-year-old left-hander. He works in and out with his fastball, and it's a deceiving fast, about 92, 93 miles an hour. He mixes in a big, slow curveball, and the changeup that he will use, it's above average, and he has used it well. Left-handers, and I think this is why you see Lind and Overbay on the bench today.
Encarnacion down the line and hooks it into foul territory, and then it bounces back out in the field.
Hammered foul by Encarnacion. He's been doing that, getting the head out. But you see Linden Overbay on the bench because Rowan Smith has great numbers against left-handed hitters. Lefties are hitting just 187 against them, and that big slow curveball changeup are one of the reasons why.
Edwin Encarnacion, when he came to the Blue Jays in the trade for Scott Rowland from Cincinnati, he scuffled at the plate for a little while and says he's getting used to American League pitching now.
Yeah, more off-speed pitches, but his timing is a lot better. When he first came here, he was late on a lot of things. That might have been because he wasn't real sure of the pitching here. Ball fouled back and out of play. But now, as he becomes a little bit more comfortable, knows the league a little more, watches more tape, talks to his teammates, he's getting started a little bit quicker, and he's getting the head of the bat out more. That's why you see more extra base hits.
Here's the 3-2. Fly ball again out to Ichiro Suzuki. Shields his eyes again. 1, 2, 3 go the Blue Jays. We go to the second inning at Rogers Center. Mariners and Jays on TSN2. Sun-splashed Sunday in downtown Toronto. Top of the second inning, Adrian Beltre, followed by Bill Hall. Kenji Jojima after that for the Mariners. Adrian Beltre, just 7 home runs, 41 RBIs. Remember, he was on the DL most of August. Drills one down the line. One of the most uncomfortable injuries for a baseball player.
For anybody.
For anybody. Got a ball right where you don't want to get a ball, and he's not wearing a protective cup. And I know that sounds, you know, you might say, hey, he maybe forgot it that day. He's never worn one.
Never worn one. And I know of outfielders who don't and pitchers who don't.
But for the kids out there, wear it.
Whenever you start playing baseball, you have to. Spent about 3 weeks on the disabled list and just got back in the lineup a couple of weeks ago.
It's not exactly a subject matter you want to bring up at time to time, but I think it's good for people to know,
That's
especially
good, yeah.
parents and young players playing the game, because often if you're a coach and you've got young kids, a lot of coaches don't ask those kids and say, hey, make sure you're wearing it. 3 balls and 2 strikes. Beltre did not play yesterday, played Friday, and ground ball again to John McDonald. You have to admire about John McDonald more than anything is, again, because he hasn't played very much, he still makes those plays look routine. And there's only one reason that he does it, because he works so hard at it.
That is the only reason. That I remember talking to him at the beginning of the season, and he hadn't played for a while. And, you know, you go up and you talk to a guy, hey, how you doing? You know, how you working? Working hard, playing the game the right way, practicing the game the right way. He said he learned from Omar Vizquel how to practice before a ball game to get ready for a game. And you would watch him day in and day out as Bill Hall skies that ball to the right side. Aaron Hill shields his eyes, shields the sun from his eyes and makes the catch. But John McDonald works hard at his craft. That's why he's good at it.
And he's never surprised. Like, he makes some plays look spectacular. He makes them look spectacular because other players couldn't get to that ball.
And the reason they couldn't get to that ball, because they didn't practice like it was a game situation. You go hard. He has spent countless hours on the other side of that fungo, honing his craft and becoming a good fielder. And it's a thing that doesn't happen overnight. You've got to practice at it. You've got to put your time into it.
Angie Jojima, 8 home runs, 21 RBIs for the Mariners catcher. One of the many Asian players that the Mariners had in their lineup through the years. And McDonald can't get to that. Another base hit here, second today by the Mariners. And that will bring out the second baseman, Matt Tuiasosopo.
I know Jojima over the years has worn out the Blue Jays, and he keeps it going here. Rips it right up the middle. Another 2-out hit.
Tuiasosopo, second baseman of the Mariners, comes by his talent naturally. This is a family, gifted athletes. Encarnacion will make the play over to Aaron Hill. And just like the first inning, 2 outs, a single, and then the third out. Vernon Wells will lead off when we come back to Toronto. Embodies what the Toronto Blue Jays have gone through this season is Vernon Wells. Only Adam Lind and Aaron Hill and Marco Escudero really having those kind of breakout seasons, but the struggles for this team offensively epitomized by what Vernon had to go through, and now he's cranking it up here in September.
Yeah, he certainly is. He's using the whole field. He's driving in runs. There are his season stats: 15 home runs and 66 driven in. Every year, a team will have 2, maybe 3 players have career years. It's the other guys have got to stay in and have their average years. They can't have bad years. And then you have a really good offense.
Oh, Jojima. You know, that was probably a ball that he could have had. I think he kind of lost it as it was coming down, just near the backstop.
I know we've talked about the sun already, but that one landed over the fence. He comes there, throws that mask away.
Yeah, right over the...
And almost hits the fans in the first row.
There's this just on the other side. Wells, a high fly ball into the upper deck. Boy, there's some power up there. 5th deck foul ball.
I wonder when they got their seats and they found out where they were sitting today, they felt like they would have a chance of getting a foul ball.
Not a chance of getting a foul ball up there. Vernon trying to straighten this out now, as he's tried to straighten everything out, particularly at home. And I'm sure Vernon Wells, when he goes home in the offseason, will work hard on trying to maybe correct some of the fundamental things within his game here at Rogers Center. Maybe not trying to push too hard. Fly ball out to left field.
You ask him about that, why the discrepancy between the road splits and the home splits, and he has no answer. You don't know. It's just one of those years. Maybe you try a little bit harder, and if you try a little bit harder, you get away from your game.
You try a little bit harder when you know that the fans are on you as well. He took a lot of wrath here this year, and it comes with the territory when you're making big bucks.
But then you hit a 3-run home run off of Felix Hernandez, and you drive in another big run, and the fans start cheering you. That's just the way it is. Yeah.
Now Randy Ruiz has not had a chance to play as much as he did when he was first brought up. Howard Webster Award winner for his play at AAA this year. Broken bat. Tuiasosopo makes the play.
But he will pack some wallop in that bat.
Yeah, he's got a heavy bat. He's one of the guys I'm sure come spring training the Blue Jays will look at to fill the DH role if Adam Lind is a regular outfielder.
Yeah, Adam Lind will have to play every day in the outfield if Ruiz makes the team as the DH.
Another question mark around this guy, Rod Barajas. Free agent to be. Some pop in that bat this season. 18 home runs, 66 RBIs.
Good numbers for Barajas. He is 4th in the AL among catchers with those RBIs and home runs. He's hit a couple of big pinch hit home runs this year for the Blue Jays.
What you like about Rod Barajas is the kind of team guy he is. You've been around the team a lot. You see what he does day in, day out, and the way he works with the pitchers.
Brings it, I guess, would be the best way to describe it. I like how he and Roy Halladay really work together and make in-game adjustments. If you watch the game as closely as I do, you can see the adjustments that those two will make in the game. Catchers have it tough when they have to catch so many different pitchers like we have seen this year.
And a lot of young ones, rookie pitchers.
Pitchers who were in A-ball and AA last year.
I have read or heard that the Blue Jays might be looking on the market for a catcher, but good catchers do not grow on trees. When you got one, hang on to him. Keep Romero one of those youngsters. Barajas, high fly ball out to center field. Gutierrez there with the shades down, and another 1, 2, 3 for Ryan Rowland-Smith and the Mariners. We head to the 3rd inning, and zeros are on the board. Back at Rogers Center, the send-off crowd today. The Blue Jays will finish the season on the road. This is the final home game. Game 81 of 162. And scoreless as we go to the third inning here. Blue Jays ending this against the Mariners at home, then go off to Boston to take on the Red Sox. And then the Baltimore Orioles. Final series of the season. Josh Wilson, the number 9 hitter. Shortstop for the Mariners against Brian Talent.
Yuniesky Betancourt looked like an up-and-coming shortstop for the Seattle Mariners just a few years ago. Looked like he was going to be fine offensively, defensively. I thought he was spectacular. They ended up trading him to the Kansas City Royals. He's now property of the Royals, and they thought they had the replacement in Jack Wilson, who came over from the Pittsburgh Pirates. Jack Wilson, though, got stepped on by Octavio Dotel the other day when they were playing the White Sox. Messed up his heel. Right around the same time Marco Scudero had his heel problem last week. Josh Wilson has filled in, got a big base hit here in the first game. Ended up being the game winner, a drive into right center field on Thursday.
3 balls and a strike to Josh Wilson. Guy finally getting a chance to live out the dream. I'll recheck the scoreboard that was wrong there. So the count is 3 balls and 2 strikes. And Wilson will walk. Well, Roy Halladay has given so much through the years, including this at Rogers Center. He and his wife Brandy, part of Doc's Box, and Roy Halladay always pays a visit to his own box where he hosts kids from Sick Kids Hospital and makes an appearance up there. You know, you see Roy Halladay with the blinders on at times and the focus, that calm demeanor, the fire when he gets on the mound, and then you see him like that. You can see what kind of a guy he is and how much he has meant to this community. Ichiro slashes one out to left field. Travis Snyder makes the out. Wilson at first, 1 away here in the third. There they are in Doc's Box. Roy and Brandy partnered with Jay's Care Foundation to host that special place. Children and their families from Sick Kids are guests at today's game. They get merchandise and gifts. For more info, go to bluejays.com/jayscare. Good stuff.
Very good stuff.
Great to see the faces of the kids. Many who don't get a chance to go down to the ball yard very often.
You know, I think, Blackie, in the middle of the season when all those trade rumors were going on involving Doc, when you see him up in the box, I think that's why it really affected him, because he is entrenched in this city, in this community, and everything that he brings to the ball club and the organization. I think that's why it really affected him and his family. It's taken a while for him to be able to move past that.
You know, his wife Brandy, when all that was going on, she at times got very emotional about the trade rumors. And when you become, it's part of sport, it's part of business. You've been traded, you've been dealt, you know how hard it was on your family, but when you are the ace of a staff, you are the face of a franchise, times it by a few more. Ball and a strike. Franklin Gutierrez watching Wilson at first. It's a good lead there. Bautista will gather this in. And Roy Halladay in one of the many final Roy Halladay games at Rogers Center. Boy, he pitched a masterpiece
he was
again.
just painting with everything. Curveballs, breaking balls, just putting it in there, and the Mariners could not hit him. He worked quickly. The ball game was just over 2 hours long. Up and down they went. Look how dominant he was in that game. Another shutout, his third shutout of the season, 14th of his career. Just needed 114 pitches to get 9 strikeouts in those 9 innings. Always fun to watch. And what I didn't realize when we were talking about him today, and now we're talking about trades and how you're entrenched, it's been 11 years he has pitched for this big league team. The time goes by.
11 years, and I recall a debut that was incredible around this time. Kevin Millar trying to keep Josh Wilson close. 2 away here in the 3rd inning. You can bet when the season ends, the trade rumors will start swirling again around Roy Halladay. And here's our Rogers fast fact. On this date in 1998, Roy Halladay's no-hit bid was broken up by Detroit's Bobby Higginson with 2 out in the 9th inning. On this date, I remember that like yesterday.
Just bring it all around right there. And we were talking about that before the game, and the ironies of ironies of that ball's hit into center field. Dave Stieb caught the ball out in the bullpen.
The only guy who has a no-hitter for the Toronto Blue Jays. So Josh Wilson stranded at first. Kevin Millar will lead off. Seattle nothing, Toronto nothing. Snyder's due up second here in the bottom of the 3rd inning, and here it is, number 10, counting down, Tabby's top 10.
Travis Snyder hits 2 home runs in New York. That was September 15th. Now, he did it earlier in the year at Minnesota, but I thought these home runs, where they were in Yankee Stadium against the Yankees, and the distance that he put, that was probably about 900 feet of home runs. Very fun to watch.
And it's not a stadium that has the history of the old Yankee Stadium, but it's still Yankee Stadium, and those are his first 2 round trippers in New York. Kevin Millar leading off here against Ryan Roland Smith, who has yet to give up a hit from Toronto. Millar, 6 home runs, 27 RBIs, a .209 average. I'm excited about this Tabby top 10 thing.
Yeah.
So much, it's cloaked in mystery.
I put a lot of time into this now. Put a lot of thought.
You didn't get like Simon Cowell and Paula Abdul or anybody to vote on them. These are your own. This is your own world.
I've seen a lot of games
this
year.
There you go.
Just about every single one of them. I've either broadcast or watched.
And having seen and watched them all, as many fans have, there's a sense of disappointment, certainly in another September. Millar fouling it off.
Maybe because they got off to such a great start. I remember in the wintertime, J.P. Ricciardi and Cito Gaston were playing down that they had a chance to win the division. Some of the fans and some of the media, took that as, hey, this is a do-over type of season, a mulligan, let it go. But then as the season started, they said, hey, wait a minute now. We've got some young pitchers, and we've gotten off to a good start, and everything was fine. But then in baseball, you go up, sometimes you go down, and they came down really quickly.
There's a guy who can tell you a lot about that. Kevin Millar, only a few years ago, part of a world championship, a full-time player. Now really a part-time guy with the Blue Jays, goes down swinging. First strikeout from Ryan Roland Smith. And now Travis Snider. This has been a recharge season since the big tease early on. It'll be a recharge offseason, reload for the Blue Jays. Snider, Ichiro hauls it in at the track. Lost in all the hitting that Ichiro does. This guy's like a cat out there.
Gold Glove outfielder. He gets great jumps. And when he was younger, he used to come up with lots and lots of outfield assists. But nobody runs on him anymore. He just has 5 outfield assists this year. But he gets good jumps and just a fine all-around player.
Ball and 2 strikes to John McDonald. Showing some power lately. Johnny Mack has. Getting a chance to play again with Scutaro down and out. Look at that breaking pitch.
That's that big slow curveball that he will use to get hitters off of his fastball. One more note about Ichiro in the outfield. He has won 8 straight Gold Gloves. Every year that he has come over here and played in the big leagues, he's won a Gold Glove.
Straight up in the air, Jojima to the backstop. Will this one stay in? Yes, it will. And another 1, 2, 3. We head to the 4th inning here at Rogers Center. Still waiting for our first run of the ball game. Sunday night football. TSN, Indianapolis Colts travel to Arizona to take on the Cardinals. Live coverage, 7 Eastern, 4 Pacific. This afternoon we are outdoors today at Rogers Center. Mike Sweeney with a first pitch hack at that pitch by Brian Talent. Scoreless here, top of the 4th inning. Mariners and Blue Jays, finale of their 4-game series. Talent has worked into a lot of full counts so far. Way ahead of Mike Sweeney.
This is when Sweeney gets tough. He's always been a very good 2-strike hitter. Talking to some of the Seattle people, and they feel that the addition of Mike Sweeney and Ken Griffey Jr., veterans who have been around the wars and who have played this game a long time, their influence in the clubhouse has been so positive. One of the main reasons why the Mariners have turned it around the way they have.
Ball and 2 strikes to Sweeney. Dependable veteran. Pounded into the turf and into the Blue Jay dugout.
Seattle was 61 and 101 last year. They now sit 5 games over 500, biggest improvement in Major League Baseball. And again, one of those reasons was the influence of the veterans that they've picked up this year.
Just missing, 2 balls and 2 strikes. Sweeney, of course, spent 18 years with the Kansas City Royals, 1 season with Oakland. Ripped foul. A lot of kids here today. Final home game for the Blue Jays, and
they brought the little leaguers out today.
They did.
Paraded them out on the field before the ball game.
Mississauga Tigers down there. 2 balls and 2 strikes, and he struck him out. First strikeout for Brian Talent. And the Toronto Blue Jays through the years, of course, have done a lot to support amateur baseball. The Jays sponsored 5 divisions of Baseball Ontario, 24,100 amateur players. And today the Jays honored the 5 provincial championship teams. And again, they all had a chance to parade around the field earlier. Congratulations to them all. Adrian Beltre now.
Beltre trying to call timeout.
Too late.
Home plate umpire Tony Randazzo says that's a little late.
Beltre grounded to John McDonald back in the 2nd inning. He's laughing. Games are a little looser here in September. Do you find? As we found yesterday when Vernon Wells ended up going to the bullpen and sitting with the guys in the bullpen during one of the innings. And
see the bee coming right around his
little wasp
face. There's nothing you can do about that.
Strike 3. That time looking. So credit Brian Talent with his strikeout and maybe a wasp on one of those strikes. The way Beltre's luck lately, you know, I'd be moving away from that wasp.
Surprised a little bit on that fastball by Talent. He's got that slow wind up, very deliberate, and all of a sudden, boom, the ball's on top of you. I think that's why his changeup can be so effective. Long arms, long legs. He hides the ball nicely. You see that slow, deliberate motion.
Here's Bill Hall now. Opt out in the 2nd inning. 2 home runs, 10 RBIs to go with a .215 average for Hall. Fouled away. Former 6th rounder of the Milwaukee Brewers. The guy who back in 2006. Had an amazing year at the plate.
35 home runs for Bill Hall and 85 driven in. And then the Brewers started picking up other players. They started moving Bill Hall around from third to the outfield, to center field, and then finally on to Seattle.
Part of the Brewers last year when they went to the division series against the Phillies in the playoffs. Way ahead of Bill Hall as well as Brian Talent. And he got him. 3 straight strikeouts for Brian Talent. First Sweeney. Then Adrian Beltre looking. And finally Bill Hall. Down they go. We go to the bottom of the 4th here at Rogers Center. Prized rookie of the Blue Jays this year, Ricky Romero, number 9 on Tabby's top 10.
He's had some very good games this year, but I think this was his best start. 7 innings pitched. He only gave up 2 hits to a very good hitting Philadelphia Phillies team. 7 strikeouts, just 1 walk, no runs in beating the Phillies. So the outstanding start by Ricky Romero is number 9.
Romero, I saw his online web chat the other day and talking about the work he has to do in the offseason, and you love to hear that from a young player wanting to get better,
always looking for ways to improve.
It says that he has been inspired by Johan Santana, another great lefty who he has modeled himself around. Here's Jose Bautista.
J.P. Ricciardi was talking the other day. I was reading an article, and he said the first time he saw Ricky Romero pitch for Cal State Fullerton, he reminded him of Johan Santana. Big shoulders, good changeup, good breaking ball. Let's hope he develops into a Johan Santana.
Well, Blue Jays with question marks around their rotation. Ricky Romero is a natural for the rotation. Obviously Roy Halladay if he's still around, but then really, you know, up in the air based on Sean Markham, Dustin McGowan. Down the line, Bautista will have extra bases. Oh, he puts on the brakes. The ball caromed right to Bill Hall in left field, and what naturally down there would be 2 bases, and Bautista wisely put on the brakes.
That's knowing your home field. The walls jet out down here, and if you hit those walls, it'll bounce right to the fielder.
He knows he's been out there.
He's been out there on both sides. Comes right to Bill Hall, who bare hands it, gets it in quickly. Bautista has to slam on the brakes. The Jays have their first hit and first base runner.
Now Aaron Hill. Edwin Encarnacion on deck. Scoreless game here in the bottom of the 4th inning. the second time around now for Blue Jay hitters. What about Aaron Hill next season? What do you say as the Blue Jays going forward? You know, they didn't say much to him last year. Just be ready, you know, be healthy, and
don't change anything.
Don't change anything.
Stay right there.
Would they change him in the batting order, do you think, or leave him at 2? What would you do?
Cito has talked about that. Maybe moving him down to number 3 as he hits that ball down the right field line and just foul. The thing about Hill, along with Lynn, is how every month he has been steady and he has put up good numbers. You don't see those giant dips. You know, there were some months where he might not have hit for a high average, but the production was there. Look at June when he hit 245, 7 home runs, 19 driven in. This is a guy who has hit number 2 all season long.
I always find it curious when people say, well, you know, move him to 3 or move him to 4. Well, I wouldn't just leave a guy where he is in a spot that he has become very comfortable in.
He's a good breaking ball hitter, but he is a very good fastball hitter. When you are hitting number 2, you've got an offensive player hitting ahead of you who is on base all the time, and you've got a guy behind you who is hitting. You're going to get a lot of fastballs, and he has turned on some fastballs this season.
Spoils one that time. Still a ball and 2 strikes to Aaron. 1 home run away, by the way, from Alfonso Soriano.
Right.
Last time anybody had home runs as a second baseman up in the mid-30s was Soriano with 35. Hit hard to left center field, but tracking it is Bill Hall. And Aaron Hill just missed that. Bautista scurries back.
Yeah, he certainly did. And he's hit everything this year. Rowan Smith throws that looping curveball. Maybe he got it off the end too much. Still drove Hall to the warning track in left field.
Now Edwin Encarnacion, who for all intents and purposes certainly looks like the incumbent third baseman moving forward for the Toronto Blue Jays.
I had that discussion this morning with Brian Butterfield about his third baseman. I said, tell me about him. And he says he's got very good hands for a third baseman. The arm is starting to come around, trying to get him to stay on top just a little bit more so his throws don't scatter and start running on him. But he feels as a third baseman, hands-wise, he's very good. And we've seen that just in this homestand. He's made some very nice plays.
Fouled back. I mean, this guy had big shoes, a big glove to fill. Right in here.
Right. And it's not fair to compare a young player to a veteran. There's Butter, who does a great job with the infield here defensively, always working them.
Do you think Butter, and I know this is maybe because this is not that most important game, do you think he has a little pager on him getting NFL scores?
He's taping the game right now as we talk.
He's
going to watch it on the plane to Boston.
He's not a poolie or anything like that.
No.
He just loves the game.
But he says that Encarnacion is very strong. There's his numbers over his last 13. Very strong, and you'll see some home runs coming off that bat.
Second strikeout for Ryan Roland Smith. So Bautista still at first base. Vernon Wells now. As Roland Smith, boy, he has that great 12-6 hook. And then comes back with a heat.
See, that's a great point. When you have a curveball like that goes up, down like he has it, you can pitch at the top of the strike zone with that fastball.
And this will do it. Just the base hit by Bautista, the first hit for the Blue Jays. We played 4 innings, still no runs on the board. season on the horizon. Tune in Wednesday night, NHL on TSN season preview. James Duthie and the panel will break it down for you. Live coverage begins at 8 Eastern, 5 Pacific time. Hockey night in Canada is soon beginning. And around North America. First pitch swinging by Kenji Jojima is into the seats. And here we are in the 5th inning. Only 2 hits for the Mariners off of Talent, and only 1 hit by the Blue Jays off of Ryan Rowland-Smith. It is a stingy little ball game so far.
Brian Talent starting to get the Mariners fishing at that changeup. This pitch to Jojima, called a ball. As he checks his swing, he struck out the side last, didn't he? By using a few different pitches. But
this one is gone. Forget about it.
That one's not coming back.
No. Kenji Jojima with his 9th home run. And fans like the fact that, kind of like Wrigley Field and Yankee Stadium and Fenway, when the opposition hits one into souvenir territory, they throw it back. That's what they did.
It's been a tough year for Jojima offensively, but no doubt about this one. A slider that hangs over the plate. And it looked like it hit in the upper deck, the second deck here. Talent looked like he was getting into a nice little groove as the fan throws it back on the field. Using his changeup and his fastball, that time he hung a slider and lost it.
Tuiasosopo now. Came up from AAA Tacoma. Jojima makes it 1-0. Blue Jays aren't used to anybody else hitting home runs lately. They've owned that department, haven't they?
They certainly have in the month of September.
There's the 2-0.
33 home runs, the most in Major League Baseball this month. They now have 190 on the season, which places them 4th in the American League.
Boy, they've really hammered the ball the last couple of weeks.
Well, we'll see if they can keep their string going of homering in 7 straight games.
Big home run on that hanger by Jojima. And here's another ball that is not coming back. Home run back to back. Jojima, then Tuiasosopo. 2-0 Mariners.
He's got to hope that that ball comes back. I believe that's his first
major league home run.
And no doubt about it. You can see how excited Tuiasosopo is after turning on that pitch from Brian Talent.
For a family that's so used to watching balls fly into end zones, Scott Downs has it, and maybe Tuiasosopo can do a little negotiation. I'm sure he'll get the ball. It's a good thing when you're a ball player. If you hit your first one, hit it into a bullpen.
Yeah.
Good chance you don't have to negotiate with a fan.
Players know.
Yeah.
That's right. They know. He's got a good swing. There is the ball. We'll watch it and see what happens to it in between innings. I've watched him now in 4 games in this series, and he's got a short, compact swing. He's big and strong.
Ex-football player, and his family football players.
6'2", I think 225, 230. It doesn't look like your regular type of second baseman.
Two nothing Seattle. Back-to-back bombs. And Tuiasosopo's first major league home run. We'll never forget it. Came here in Toronto. And down on strikes. It has to be confirmed at first base. It is. 4th strikeout. Let's take another look at this.
Short swing and keeps the front shoulder in, and the bat head comes flying through the zone. That is number one. Comes back down into the bullpen. And the Mariners have back-to-back home runs for the third time this season.
The guy who watched it sail, another guy from the state of Washington. I'm sure their paths have collided. Tuiasa Sopo and Travis Snyder. Snyder growing up in that Seattle area, grew up watching the Mariners, and the ball has made it to the other bullpen. And here comes Ichiro.
Here's John Wetland, the bullpen coach for the Mariners.
If Ichiro wasn't in professional baseball, I am convinced he would be an excellent cricket player.
Because of his hand-eye coordination, the way you bounce the ball and spank it.
Takes him off the ground the other way and just foul. Uses all the field.
Well, 200 hits. That's nothing for Ichiro Suzuki. 9 seasons now. One more and he will tie Pete Rose for the most 200 hit seasons in Major League Baseball history. Ichiro has done his consecutively. Rose did not.
You know, I suppose many obvious comparisons to Pete Rose, who again, you know, with his familiar style, always used all parts of the field. 2-2. Short hop. McDonald has to hurry. And got him. That's a tough one with Ichiro out of the box so quickly.
Yeah, he knows who's running. And that's why Ichiro hits for such a high average. He's got great hand-eye coordination, doesn't strike out a lot, but he's got something that Pete Rose never had, great speed. This ball filleted to McDonald, and he's got to have the quick transfer and dug out by Millar. Watch him go down and get that one just ahead of Ichiro for the out.
Good call. Chris Guccione down the first baseline. Franklin Gutierrez now 2-0 Seattle on the back-to-back home runs here in the 5th inning. But like Pete Rose, when you watch Ichiro, you almost expect him to get a hit every time, and that's what you thought. And I know you grew up really idolizing Pete Rose.
I think I've seen every one of his at-bats. No, just kidding. Well, he had something that Ichiro didn't have. He had the ability to switch in.
Switch hit.
So.
And the ability to slide head first and knock catchers over even in all-star games.
But both of them have the drive to be great.
Yeah.
And that's something that you need if you want to set a hits record and come out and play every single day. You have to have the drive to be great.
Here's the 2-1 to Gutierrez. Driven to the gap again. Snyder's going to watch this one, and it will sail out. 3 home runs by the Mariners here in the 5th inning, and that has certainly got the attention of the Toronto Blue Jays. Jojima, Tuiasa Sopo, and now Franklin Gutierrez with his 18th.
And I believe, Rod, all of them on the same types of pitches. Off-speed pitches down to a right-handed batter right into their power stroke. He goes down and gets it. Line drive right over the scoreboard in left field.
Well, Brian Talent was really sailing along until this inning. Came off of striking out the side. That ball was foul. Jose Lopez striking out the side, and then this third time around, the Mariners have either picked something up, or because it's the third time around, have really rocked Brian Talent here.
Catching too much of the plate with those off-speed pitches to players who can hit the ball a long way.
Johnny Mack. There's the third out finally, and the Mariners turn on the power. Jojima, Tuiasa Sopo, his first homer, and Franklin Gutierrez, 3-0. this inning, and he's coming up at number 8 in Tabby's top 10.
Let's go back to June 18th against Ryan Matson in a game that the Blue Jays needed. How about a pinch hit grand slam home run as the Blue Jays end up sweeping the world champs in Philadelphia thanks to that big hit by Rod Barajas.
Now Randy Ruiz leading off here in the 5th inning. So the Blue Jays, who have been homering like crazy in the month of September, need to turn on the power themselves. Ruiz with his second go around here against Ryan Roland Smith, who has pitched a gem so far.
He's moving that fastball in and out and up and down, complementing it with that big slow curveball that he has, mixing in a little bit of a changeup there. His fastball throws that one a little bit harder and picks up his 3rd strikeout.
So here comes Barajas as we take a look at Ruiz. Maybe trying to go for that fence right there. Can't catch up with it.
You think you're right on it, and you swing, and nothing there. Rowan Smith has pitched very effectively. We talked about the arm injury he suffered in his first start of the season against the Athletics. So that ball's hit hard to center field.
Way back to center field to the wall, and right there is Gutierrez. Rod Barajas kind of following our top 10.
He must have watched the top 10. That was almost a carbon copy of the center field. Think about Ryan Rowan Smith. He has pitched into the 7th inning in 9 of his past 12 starts. 8 innings in 3 of those past 5. And there's talk that if he stays healthy and builds up his arm, what a compliment behind Felix Hernandez for Seattle.
Kevin Millar now struck out back in the 3rd inning. Ryan Roland Smith, part of a team of United Nations players. They got him from all over in Seattle. Multicultural city. Japanese players, Venezuelan, Dominican Republic, and
Canada?
Australia and Canada. Roland Smith hails from Australia. And another tidy inning by him. Side retired again as we head to the 6th. The 3-0 is Seattle lead. Home game of the regular season for the Toronto Blue Jays. They want to go out in style here in Toronto before they hit the road to finish off the 09 campaign, but they're down 3 on 3 home runs off of Brian Talbot in the previous inning.
They are 6 games over 500 this year here at Rogers Center.
Encarnacion, long toss. Millar stretching. There's out number 1.
It's been the road that has really hurt the Blue Jays. 19 games under 500 when they hit the road.
Now Adrian Beltre, so no let up here in this lineup. It was the bottom third that got it going for the Mariners in the 5th inning. Starting with Kenji Jojima. I'm sure Brad Arnsberg and Cito Gaston probably both said something to Talent, who has a penchant for giving up the long ball.
20 of them now that Brian Talent has given up 3 this afternoon.
Big cut there by Beltre. Ball and 2 strikes.
If the Mariners want to improve, they're going to have to improve their offense. They come into this game 12th in the American League in home runs, but they are last in a lot of categories in the American League offensively.
Yeah, their batting average, which is only .257, considering that they have Ichiro, who is close to .400.
Yeah, figure that one. And their on base percentage, it's just not there. Last in the American League at .314. It's a pitcher's ballpark that they play in. That's a given out in Seattle. So I think one spot that they can improve themselves in is on base percentage. If you do that, you're going to create more runs because you're not going to hit a lot of home runs in Seattle. Ballpark's just too big.
That is a beautiful ballpark.
Yes.
2 balls and 2 strikes. Again, the ability to retract the roof as well. It's so important there. And Beltre gets beamed. And as he goes down to first base, we continue with Tabby's top 10. The countdown continues to number 7.
Well, you got to figure John McDonald's going to be in there somewhere. In Texas, back on September 2nd, a great play to get Murphy. That ball was by him. Plays off the line, comes up smoking and throws him out at first base. So Johnny Mack is number 7 on our list of highlight plays this year.
Tabby's top 10. Last year, Johnny Mack might have had all 10.
He had his own list.
Yeah, he had his own list. Now Bill Hall, and after him Jojima, with 1 away here in the 6th inning. Blue Jays would like nothing better, and again, inconsequential games down the stretch here in so many ways. Would like nothing better in front of this nice crowd here today. Big crowd, almost 40,000. Get the Mariners here and start swinging the bat. You know, considering it, tough to get to the ballpark today.
Yeah, with all
the marathon and a couple of charity runs downtown. You had to run a marathon to get into this stadium. But hey, the young kids made it.
You had to get here early because they were giving out the fleece.
They're giving out the blankets.
The fleece blanket.
You don't need the fleece today, though, do you? Beautiful day.
It's got a feel of playoff baseball, weather-wise. You know, the sun starts setting a little bit quicker. The shadows start coming over the field earlier in the ball game.
Ball and 2 strikes to Bill Hall, and got him. 5th strikeout now for Brian Talent, 2 away. And the guy who stung him last time and got it going for the Mariners will stride to the plate, Kenji Jojima.
Second time this afternoon that Brian Talent has gotten Bill Hall on a changeup. This one down and away. Would have been a ball, but he's too anxious and swings right over the top of it. Jojima, 2 hits. He has really, in his career, hit well against Toronto.
Brian Talent knows he has to be careful this time around. Jojima began the assault in the 5th. talk playoff baseball. It's kind of funny this year. Usually you and I are sitting here talking about all of the great races. There's really only a couple of significant ones. The AL Central, Minnesota's still in it with Detroit only 2 back. And the National League wild card.
Atlanta,
Boy, they have come a lot.
have come roaring back, just 2.5 games behind Colorado as we start today.
Maybe extra careful, too careful this time with Jojima. There's a strike. And it's rare that we sit here and you know, usually you're talking about a number of races, wild card, and you know, a lot of these division titles were settled long ago. Yankees, Angels, Phillies, Cardinals, Dodgers, and lost them.
They haven't, like the Angels haven't won it, but they're going to win.
They're going to win.
They're going to win. They're up by 5 games with 8 to play. New York is up by 7.5 on Boston. Boston's probably going to get in now. They lead the wild card by 6 games. Just a couple more wins or a couple more losses by Texas, and they will wrap that up. Atlanta has gotten to within 5 games of Philadelphia of the East. Now, crazier things have happened in the last month, but
Blue Jays have been down that road before.
Yeah. 7 out.
Back in the 80s.
With 7 to play.
And once again, Tui Asasopo with a hard hit, but this time into the glove of another Washington native, Travis Snider. Nothing across. We head to the bottom of the 6th, and Snider will lead off in a moment.
Travis Snider waits on deck. He will be part of number 6 in the top plays. We saw Snider hit a couple of home runs at Yankee Stadium. That was part of 5 home runs by the Jays against Yankee pitching just a few weeks ago. Into that stadium, Bautista with the last one on a line down the left field. They also hit 5 home runs against Cleveland. That was here, but again at Yankee Stadium, I don't know what it is. Those 5 home runs were pretty special.
So I gotta pick a bone with you here in your top 10.
Yep.
I mean, you put that in. You haven't put the Brawl in New York in yet.
It didn't make.
Oh, didn't make it. Oh,
well, we got to tell the fans out there we're up to our top 5.
Yeah.
If you want to try and guess,
top 5.
What the top 5 are, I would say email us. Can we email to Scott Carson and maybe he could get what some of the fans think?
Wow! Right up the middle, Travis Snider almost put it through Ryan Rowland-Smith.
That would have been scary. Right between the glove and his face. First pitch, fastball.
Wow, almost decapitated.
Right through the wickets right there. And you know he'll be thinking about that one.
It's only the second Blue Jay hit, and Jojima will come out and maybe just slow him down for a moment here. And John McDonald. Boy, that was close. And every time you see it, you know, you've seen players, pitchers get hit. just cringe a little bit.
I've seen him get hit in the head in a scare. I remember Phil Bradley hit a line drive off of Roy Smith right on his head, bounced out and was caught by one of the infielders. Scary stuff.
John McDonald. Blue Jays trying to get on the board here. Again, just 2 hits through this series. Have hit the long ball. Came back in dramatic fashion in the late innings yesterday, thanks to Adam Lind. Just missing the line. He could make the highlight reel this year. He's made some good catches down there.
Yeah, he's had a few
down there. He's got the good glove. Maybe a future star. He's handed out a lot of baseballs to a lot of fans. Good on him.
And a lot of friends down there. He's made a lot.
It has to be said too about, you come in here a lot, you do the games, and you get to see a lot of the people in the elevators. The people who work here at Rogers Center are here for every game, and they're big baseball fans, but they're hard workers. From the grounds crew, people behind the scenes. 1-2. McDonald. Gutierrez waits. And there's the first out here in the 6th inning.
He leads all outfielders in the American League when putouts. You can see why. He's got great range. He's got a good pitching staff that gets lots of fly ball outs. And he plays in a ballpark with a lot of room out in Seattle. So Gutierrez has been a good pickup by the Mariners from Cleveland.
Back to the top of the order. The third go around now for the Blue Jays against Ryan Rowland-Smith, the Aussie. Jose Bautista. First pitch. Hops it up. Ichiro just kind of prances over there. Makes the play. Now Aaron Hill. Blue Jays again only 2 hits, and on both occasions of those 2 hits the runner never got further than first base. That's how good Ryan Rowland-Smith and the Mariners have been today.
Those guys aren't being used so far here through 6 innings. They're just kind of hanging around. It's David Ardsma, you saw him, the closer for Seattle, just loosening up his legs.
Aaron Hill, 2 fly outs here today. Hop out to short in the first, a fly out to left field in the 4th. 2 away. Next pitch for Ryan Rowland-Smith will be number 75 in the ball game.
Very economical. I've looked into his numbers, and we talk about Roy Halladay throwing the fewest amount of pitches per inning. Rowland-Smith is up there. He just hasn't had the innings that Halladay has had this year. About 15 pitches per inning, less than 4 pitches per at bat. Has not given up a stolen base this year either.
Down the line and in foul territory and hauled in nicely by Lopez. Well, just another base hit. That's it. 6 innings down. 3-0. Seattle Mariners.
list together, I wanted all facets of the game. We saw Johnny Mack's defense. This might have been one of the best defensive plays that we've seen. Scott Rowland earlier this year, back on May the 3rd, taking away a hit from Brian Roberts. The reaction, the quickness, just a beautiful play by Rowland, taking away that hit. So we're not just offense happy.
Well, not just
put it together,
and not just current Blue Jays as well, obviously. And Scott Rowland, what a treat to watch Scott Rowland last couple of seasons in Toronto. Number 9 hitter Josh Wilson, strikeout and a walk. Brian Talent continues to operate here into the 7th inning. He's given up 5 Mariner hits, 3 of them solo home runs. And again, Scott Rowland could have had his own highlight reel this year. There were a number of Rowland plays. I'm thinking about the leaping one.
The leaping one?
Yeah. No, the throw
down the
arm,
line. I remember
he
went down the line, backhanded, threw it from his knees and got the runner. You're right. You could have put about 5 or 6 of them on the list.
I don't know how you feel about it, but nothing against Kelly Gruber or others who played here. I think he's the best defensive third baseman the Blue Jays have ever seen.
We put that question to Cito Gaston, and he said he was the best he has ever seen.
Straight up in the sky. Bautista waves off Aaron Hill. Out number 1. Today it's been the Seattle Mariners taking the baseball deep.
They came into this game 3rd from the bottom in the American League in home runs, but in 1 inning they hit 3. Joji Montoya Sopo, then Gutierrez with number 18 on the line to left field, and that's where we stand here in the 7th inning. That's all the scoring that we have seen so far.
Once again, Ichiro 0 for 3 today. Oh, and he gets hit. And that's the 2nd time that a Mariner has been hit today. Ichiro, Brian Talent just lost that pitch. You can tell right away. No intent to hit Ichiro. Try to bust him inside maybe a little bit. Ichiro goes down to first base.
Rob Barajas is not set up in that far, but it just clips him in the rib area. You don't want to put a guy like Ichiro on, so you're right. He wasn't trying to hit him. Ball that just got away. He has now hit 6 batters this year.
Ichiro can fly on the base paths. Franklin Gutierrez, solo home run, and again Talent with the hit batsman and the home runs, and those have been blips on his screen. Ichiro with 26 stolen bases. Talent watches him. You got to think that Cito Gaston's going to get that bullpen up and ready soon. Over 100 pitches now for Brian Talent.
You don't want to let this one get away too quickly. This is what Ichiro Suzuki can do for the hitter behind him. Pitcher starts paying so much attention to him over at first base. The count is all of a sudden 2-0, and you got to figure somewhere in this sequence Gutierrez is going to get a fastball. Just the threat of the steal from Ichiro Suzuki will buy a fastball for the hitter hitting behind him.
There's a strike. One away here. Jose Lopez is on deck. Allen would love a double play ball here. Some of those scores this afternoon. The Yankees trailing the Red Sox 2-1 in the second. Tigers trying to cling to that 2-game lead. They've got a big series with Minnesota too. 1-1 with the White Sox in the third, and the Twins trailing Kansas City 3-0 in the second. The Royals trying to play spoilers. Two balls, two strikes to Franklin Gutierrez. Got him. That's the sixth strikeout now for Talent.
Well, Gutierrez got his fastball, but it was out of the strike zone, and it's strike three. Talent goes upstairs to get him. Right up and away, Gutierrez swings right through it. 6 of them now from Brian Talent, 5 of them swinging.
Now Jose Lopez, the number 3 hitter in the lineup. Mike Sweeney on deck, and Blue Jays would love to end it here with Ichiro stranded at first. Edwin Encarnacion to lead off the Blue Jays in the bottom of the 7th after the stretch. Then Vernon Wells and Randy Ruiz. Judging by that Seattle bullpen right now, Don Wakamatsu's not doing anything with Ryan Roland Smith, and why would he?
Yeah, he's dealing right now. But it's still only 3-0. Ryan Talent's job is to get this hitter, who is a good hitter and a productive hitter. We talk about the second basemen in the American League and some of the years they've had: Ian Kinsler and Aaron Hill, Dustin Pedroia, Robinson Cano with 24 home runs. Jose Lopez, 25 home runs and 92 driven in.
Jammed him on the inside. Johnny Mack retreats out to shallow left field, and that's it. So time for Take Me Out to the Ball Game in the stretch at Rogers Center, and the Blue Jays down 3. Here comes Ryan Roland Smith again.
You know, it just slid in there because it happened just yesterday. Jose Bautista's catch yesterday. The concentration, that ball right over his shoulder. He catches it, slams into the wall, holds on to it. You might not find a better catch by an outfielder this season. Just a beautiful catch in right field in yesterday's ball game.
Over the shoulder, Willie Mays style. Well, Willie never really banged against an auxiliary scoreboard. He made that catch famous, the Say Hey Kid. Edwin Encarnacion now.
I had to readjust my top 10 because that happened just yesterday. So that's why Scott Richmond's 11 strikeout performance doesn't make it. Sorry.
It's amazing that you're able to coordinate that in with all the hard work that you had to do to accumulate this top 10. Encarnacion has struck out, flied out. Blue Jays trying to get to the Aussie, Ryan Rowland-Smith. Evens the count, 2 balls and 2 strikes. So we're down to the last 3, Tabby Cat.
Do you have a guess at what number 1 is?
Did you catch a foul ball this year?
That would have been.
Yeah,
number
I
1.
just wondered. No, I have no idea. I'm sure Roy Halladay probably figures into one of them.
He's in the top 3.
Marco Scutaro. He plays by him. Oh, that one gets away. Now 3 balls and 2 strikes. Ryan Rowland-Smith has given up 2 hits, struck out 3, but has not walked a batter yet. Hopped up again, close to the Mariner dugout, and Lopez has out number 1. I love that top 10. Now, you're talking about Bautista out at that auxiliary scoreboard. And I don't know about you, when I saw that catch yesterday, you know what I thought about?
I know what I thought about.
Devo?
Devo.
So did I. But anyhow, obviously a little more to left center field. And that spot will always be remembered for the catch that Devon White made in the World Series. Here's Vernon Wells. And, you know, you got to think back then, there were no auxiliary scoreboards. And, you know, here it is again.
This one in a little bit more pressure-packed game.
Yeah.
Dead center, backhands it right against the wall, and when Gruber made the tag, should have been
a triple play.
But no.
You know, if Devo makes that one against the scoreboard now, you might need a spatula to get him off. And there is a base hit. Times have changed, haven't they?
Yeah, they have. Stadiums changed a little bit. We've seen that a lot from Vernon Wells over the last 2 or 3 weeks, staying right with the ball, not opening up that front shoulder, trying to pull it, just hit it right back from where it came. And his average is climbing.
Now Randy Ruiz, the DH. He's had some mean cuts in there today against Rowland-Smith. Struck out in the 5th, grounded out in the 2nd.
A home run here, and the Jays are right back in it. He can supply the power. Just 97 at bats and 7 home runs.
Ruiz drives one into left field down the line, and it's off the wall. Vernon Wells will stop at third base. Ruiz is in at second with a double. And the Blue Jays now finally getting to Ryan Rowland-Smith here in the 7th inning, and they've got something cooking.
One thing that I've seen from Ryan Rowland-Smith, you can't overcommit too quickly. His fastball get on you, that lazy curveball, you'll be out in front. A good approach by Wells with a single, and now a better approach from Ruiz, banging that ball down the left field line, hustling hard to get into scoring position ahead of the throw of Bill Hall. Here comes the big man rumbling into second base.
Now Rod Barajas, one swing could tie it. Was maybe one that he could have thought about, just watching it sail into the glove of Jojima. Blue Jays down 3-0 here in the 7th inning. And a good pitch again on the changeup from Rowland-Smith.
He's got Rob Barajas thinking about it right now, because he has 3 options. He can go high fastball, he can go curveball if he wants to, or he can go back to that changeup.
Down the line and foul. 2 strikes to Barajas. 18 home runs, 66 RBIs. And Rod Barajas has hit a lot of important home runs this season.
Yeah, we've seen it on the top 10, the big grand slam. He also had a pinch hit home run. 18 home runs, that's a lot of production from a catcher.
Underneath this one, high fly ball to Gutierrez. Vernon Wells will tag and easily score, and Ruiz barreling for third. He's 90 feet away, and the Blue Jays are on the board, down 3-1. Sacrifice fly from Rod Barajas.
Yeah, you might not think that that's a big play. You know, oh, okay, there's 2 outs, but he moves up to third base. Now you can score on a wild pitch, a pass ball. Puts a little bit more pressure on the infield on a ground ball. Gutierrez gets back and uncorks a good throw, but ball's just too deep. Ruiz tags, goes to third. Wells scores on the long fly ball to make it 3-1.
Kevin Millar now. Strikeout, flyout. Fouls that away.
He is looking for something inside right here. Something hard on the inner half that he can yank.
Wow, what a hook. 2 balls, 2 strikes to Millar.
Big cross up there.
Wow.
2-1. That's a fastball count, and he changes up with him with a good curveball.
Millar and gets away from Wilson. Ruiz scores. And it's 3-2.
And he goes back to the fastball, to a fastball hitter, Kevin Millar. We'll see how they score that. A base hit or an error by the shortstop, but Rowan Smith gives up a 2-out base hit. Goes back to the heater. Millar, who is a fastball hitter, turns on it. Wilson can't come up with it.
It's between Hawk there. A liner that he thought he was going to be able to grab, and it's ruled a base hit. So Millar gets the RBI. It's 28th. And a 1-run ball game suddenly. And maybe that Mariner bullpen will start stretching a little now. So we get her into the later innings. John McDonald is on deck. Travis Snyder now. Ball and a strike to him at a base hit back in the 6th. There it is. Boy, that curveball just bites.
Yeah. You can't give up on it if you're the hitter. There's Miguel Batista is now starting to get loose.
The poet. Used to be a Blue Jay, of course. Snyder turns on it and rolls it foul.
Does Ruiz score from second base on that base hit by Millar? I don't know.
Yeah,
Ball was hit hard, and Hall was charging hard.
and that's why it was so important for him to get to third base.
It gets another run on the board.
I'll tell you what, it'd be a close play, right?
Yes, I think so. So good base running there. It gets the Jays a run.
In the dirt, good job by Jojima. Millar still at first base. So the Blue Jays finally getting their offense ticking here in the 7th inning. Kind of dormant all day, but that really has been Ryan Roland Smith responsible for that, holding the Jays at bay until now. Big guy. Snyder gets under this, and under it is Ichiro for the 3rd out, but the Blue Jays score twice. We've got a ball game here as we head to the 8th inning at Rogers Center. 3-2 Seattle. Again, 3 home runs, loud ones in the 5th inning, and he is done for the afternoon.
110 pitches, 7 solid innings, I think. Just 3 mistakes. The home runs, he will give way to Brian Wolf. Comes in. This is his 13th game of the season. Opponents hitting over 400 against Wolf, so a chance for him to make a statement here on possibly being in that bullpen next season. Wolf's first batter that he will face, he's got to face a good one in Mike Sweeney.
So now Hold'em for the Blue Jays. Yesterday 4-2 into the 8th inning for Seattle. Adam Lynn played hero, tied the ball game. The Jays won it in the 10th inning on a walk-off. Mike Sweeney 0 for 3 today, strike out, a couple of groundouts. Then Adrian Beltre and Bill Hall to face the Wolfman. We said it earlier about these September games, late September games, and the shadows now creeping over banks of lights.
That start, excuse me, Blackie, that start by Talent, the last time he threw 7 innings, you have to go all the way back to June the 9th. That was that game he pitched in Texas when he had a good changeup working. Shutout ball for 7 innings. That's the last time he went this long, so giving Cito Gaston some innings.
Hit hard to left field. Travis Snyder will watch this one fly away. Home run, Mike Sweeney. And the last thing you want to do coming out of the bullpen, especially in this game where the Blue Jays bounce back and respond, is do that. Mike Sweeney bombs another solo shot. 4 home runs from the Mariners.
Yeah, looking for some Hold'em. You don't want to walk the first guy, and you certainly don't want to give up this. Another low pitch, and Mike Sweeney has done this for a long time in his career. A line drive over the 375 spot.
Put all those home runs together in a sequence of highlights today, and they have been eating up that pitch in the strike zone today, the Mariners.
Down. Something down and over the middle of the plate.
Mike Sweeney showing some of his sentimental side there.
Well, we told you he's been hot over his last 22 with the extra base hits. 6 doubles and 4 home runs now.
Adrian Beltre. See a guy come into the dugout and pucker up too often. Can I ask you if you ever had that happen to you?
No, not wearing a uniform. No.
There you go. Adrian Beltre hit by a pitch, struck out, grounded out. Got to congratulate Team Canada at the World Cup in Italy today. First ever bronze medal at the World Cup. Beat Puerto Rico 6-2. Jimmy Von Ostren from Richmond, BC. A 2-run home run in the 9th. Lead Canada to the victory. Congratulations to Ernie Witt. Larry Walker, one of the coaches there. Canada a first today. The United States won the gold to beat Cuba 10-5. 2-1 pitch. Encarnacion, backhand. Throw over in the dirt, and they got him. Kevin Millar with a nice snag on the pickup, and then the tag. Snag and tag.
Can you give an assist to the first baseman? He sets his feet, and then the throw tails and sinks on him. Millar comes off the bag, and in one fell swoop digs it, reaches back, and gets Beltre before he gets on the bag. Nice play by Kevin Millar at first.
Ball stays in the mitt, too. Here's Bill Hall now. 4-2 Seattle. That's where this game was yesterday in the 8th inning. Hall and Jojima. 1 away here in the 8th. 2 up for the Blue Jays in the bottom of the 8th. John McDonald, Jose Bautista, and Aaron Hill. And of course, Cito Gaston has some options on the bench. If they can get to that Seattle bullpen, do not be surprised to see number 26.
Yeah. Got to get that right-hander in there, and they'll probably see Ardsma if it stays like this into the 9th inning.
Ball and a strike. Fouled out of play. Talked earlier about the ballpark and how it's changed through the years when we saw that Devon White shot and all the things they've done to kind of modernize Rogers Center through the years. Put the field turf in, of course. Ball and 2 strikes now. Crowd calling for pizza. Looking for that 7th strikeout. Vernon Wells calling everybody off. Speaking of Devo, who was here for the reunion, of course, Devon White, old teammate of yours. Still think of him as Spider-Man when he makes that catch. And Devo's going to be doing a live web chat right around that 400 mark. Not the web chat, that's where he made the catch. Thursday, October 1st, 10 a.m. to 10:45. BlueJays.com to check it out. 400 still there.
Maybe they can get like a little sticker or something like that and just place it right out there. What do you think?
A little more to the left.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know, that's, yeah, just a little thing.
Just something.
Hey, a little Devo
to
thing.
remember.
A little face, maybe. Every time a guy goes back, he sees him.
A date.
Yeah.
You know,
yeah, like a marker. We do that with seats sometimes when players hit home runs. I know they had it at Olympic Stadium. Talking about the turf, the Blue Jays want to get new turf in here. And you know what? Frankly, they need it.
Yeah.
You know, and next year, there will only be 2 teams left that play on an artificial surface.
This one and down in Tampa.
Yeah, Minnesota no longer. They'll play with natural grass. Here's the 0-2 now to Jojima. Down the line, foul. Crowd gets a little more ramped up near that 7th strikeout, don't you think?
Let's see. Talent got 6 strikeouts. One more strike here, and we've got pizza.
Hungry baseball fans. Oh man, how is that not a strike? And you know what? That's like, you know what? That's like somebody just coming to your door with a pizza box and there's no pizza inside.
Cutter, that's a ball. It's inside.
Yeah, it's inside.
Good call.
1-2 in the dirt. Can't get him to chase.
They came this close from getting a slice.
It's only a slice, but it's a strikeout slice. Three balls and 2 strikes. I hate to say it, but this is the most energy this crowd is giving us all day long. You can tell the season is winding down. Got to give it to these fans here in Toronto, though. A long time since they've made the playoffs. Going the other way, Bautista backtracks, makes the play. That's it. We go to the bottom of the 8th. Costly home run to Mike Sweeney. 4-2 Mariners. McDonald, Bautista, and Hill due up. Ryan Rowland-Smith back to work when we come back to Toronto. nice ovation here. Goodbye, a send-off until 2010. Adam Lind, we might see him yet today. Well, we'll see him here, number 3 in Tabby's top 10.
He's had a lot of highlights, but this game, August 31st, 8 runs driven in one game. He came one RBI short of the team record. Roy Howe in September of 1977 against the Yankees had 9 RBIs. Adam Lind with 8 against the Rangers. Spectacular day.
Nice little send-off for the Blue Jays here. Again, they're going to Boston. We'll finish the season in Baltimore. Try to increase the record. They'll finish without a winning record this season. First time since '05. And now John McDonald leads off. First pitch, he fouls away from Ryan Rowland Smith. That's now 105 pitches from the Australian left-hander. Johnny Mack. Should be extras. Double for John McDonald to lead off the 8th inning.
That's how you get it started. At the bottom of the lineup, get on. Top of the lineup, keep it moving. Johnny Mack's had a pop-up and a fly ball to the center fielder before this at bat. A pitch that is up by Smith, just ripped down into that corner. It gets by that wall that jets out. That allows it to be extra bases. Let's see if the Jays now can do something. This was the inning where they tied it in yesterday's game.
Jose Bautista at the dish. 1 for 3. Single back in the 4th inning. Hit a home run yesterday. That breaking pitch, not quite the bite that Rowland Smith had earlier. And now the bullpen again still up for the Mariners. Aaron Hill on deck. And speed at second base. Johnny Mack will scurry home. And it's a 1-run game again.
Jose Bautista a couple of nights ago had a big 2-out, 2 RBI single. You mentioned the home run yesterday. And now comes up just trying to move the runner, stays inside the ball, stays back. He is rewarded by group fundamentals by driving it up the middle, RBI. Here comes Johnny Mack. He's going to score without a throw. And the Jays have cut it to 1 run again.
109 pitches now for Ryan Rowland Smith. Most he's thrown this season. 113, 116. So he's getting close to his limit. Aaron Hill now with his 4th look. Hill back in the 4th inning. Just missed a pitch. Sent it out to left field. I'm sure they're maybe trying to buy a little time here and talking to Rowland Smith.
This might be a chance to get Miguel Batista a few extra tosses. On the other side, there are the numbers for Rowland Smith. Cito Gasson's thinking if they bring in the right-hander, I've got Lyle Overbay, I've got Adam Lind. When do I use them? If they bring in Bautista to face the right-handers, do you wait to put Adam Lind in there? Or do you just wait till the DH comes up? You've got Encarnacion, Wells, and then Rios. Do you wait until the DH comes, that spot, and then use them?
Rowland Smith struggling now to find his control in the 8th inning. Nobody out. 3 balls, no strikes to Aaron Hill. There's a strike. And Jose Bautista at first base.
See, I would be thinking if they bring in a left-hander, I don't care who's hitting, I'm bringing Adam Lind to make sure he gets a shot against that pitcher. If you wait too long, the right-hander's already in, you announce Adam Lind, they're going to bring in a left-hander to face him.
Great point. Let's see what happens here. As Encarnacion will come to the batter's box. That's it for Roland Smith. Encarnacion will step aside. Roland Smith is done. What an afternoon for him. Tight ball game, though. The Blue Jays down 1. Walks down to first base. 2 on now, nobody out. And here's number 2 in Tabby's top 10.
Well, we had to put both of them together because they were both fun. The walk-off hit by Aaron Hill back on May the 2nd against the Orioles. And we had to slide this one in. How beautiful was this? And yesterday's ball game, Adam Lynn with a walk-off dinger.
You had to do a lot of improv here, adding. And,
yeah, adding and subtracting.
So 1 left, and we'll get to it. Pat Tabler's top 10 of the season for the Blue Jays. Now Miguel Batista, former Blue Jay, in a tough spot here out of the bullpen. Edwin Encarnacion in the box.
If you're a Blue Jay fan, you remember the repertoire of Miguel Batista. It's a little bit of everything. Sinker, slider, changeup, curveball, sidearm, 3/4, just a little bit of everything. Doesn't fall into a pattern. You have to look for the ball because you don't know what Miguel Batista is going to throw at any time.
Blue Jays trying to stay out of a double play here. Nobody out. Tying run at second base. That one in the dirt. Batista, when he was a Blue Jay, kind of like what you said. You know, he's a kind of an all-world guy. Eclectic soul off the field, but you know, he was a closer for a while. He was a starter for a while. Plug and play.
And he's done the same thing since he's gone to Seattle. He's pitched in long relief. He started. He closed. He's set up.
And he misses now. 2 balls, 1 strike.
He's had a great arm in his career. The problem that he has had is throwing strikes. Roland Smith didn't have any problem throwing strikes. That walk to Aaron Hill, his first of the afternoon. And now is just hoping to hang on. Batista has walked 39 batters in the 67 innings that he has pitched this year, so he can be wild.
A 2-1. That evens the count. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Encarnacion trying to tie the ball game up here. One big swat put the Blue Jays ahead. Seeing the wave ripple around here at Rogers Center. Last game at home. And struck him out. Encarnacion looks at strike 3. 1 away here in the 8th.
That looked like a cutter that Bautista could throw, and it's about 89 miles an hour. Right on the inside corner, right at the knees. Plenty high enough. And Rowan Smith likes that. Still just one out.
Vernon Wells now. Adam Lind comes into the on-deck circle. As you mentioned, at that DH spot for Randy Ruiz. Vernon Wells. Base hit, run scored. 1 for 3, and again has really started to cook in September. Wants to take some of what he's done in September into the offseason and parlay it into next year. Bautista checking. Pounded down. Maybe a little inside info for Vernon Wells here. Here's a guy who played center field behind Miguel Bautista a lot in Toronto.
So he should know what he'll throw to right-handers in these situations. Something you want to think about also, the go-ahead run is at first base in Aaron Hill. Jose Lopez, the first baseman, playing right behind him. You don't want to get off too far where he can slide in behind you. But you want to get out there so you can score for sure on an extra base hit. So it's tough on the runner over there at first base. You got to look over your shoulder. You also have to look at the runner ahead of you. This is where Dwayne Murphy will really help. He'll let him know where that first baseman is. You want to get out there so you can be sure to score on an extra base hit, but not too far if you get picked off.
Ball and 2 strikes now. And good pitch by Bautista. Vernon Wells strikes out. And now Adam Lind will come to the dish. They had a left-hander warming up in the bullpen. Jojima goes out and chats with Bautista. And it was in the 8th inning yesterday when Adam Lind tied the ball game.
This talk out here by Jojima is giving Olson a chance to warm up. He just got up just a few pitches ago. So the home plate umpire, Tony Randazzo's got to go out there and get this up and get him back there if they want to make that change.
Garrett Olson. And Lind is in the box. So here we go. Miguel Bautista. 2 on, 2 out. Jays down 1. Former Blue Jay striking out Encarnacion and Wells here, helping Ryan Roland Smith. Yesterday, Lind hit it out, but right now, look at that average. 7th inning or later, he's been Mr. Clutch.
Close and late situations. 7th inning on, he has been able to be counted on this season.
Oh, good pitch again. Lind just behind on the 91-mile-an-hour cutter. Right now, though, you don't have to swing for the fences. Just a little base hit here.
Just do what you've done all season long. Wait on that ball. He has sat on that fastball this year and has hit off of it.
Turns on that. And it's foul. And once again, Miguel Bautista can work ahead in the count.
This is where Bautista starts inventing pitches. He'll turn the ball over. He'll cut it on the outside part of the plate. He'll mix it up. So far, so good for him with 2 strikeouts. You just don't know what to look for.
Couple of shakes to Jojima, and then Lind steps out. Emma says go through it again. Again, Bautista's at second base. Fouled away again. Adam Lind is also a very good hitter with 2 strikes against him.
He's got the most hits in the major leagues with 2 strikes. He's only pinch hit 3 times this year, and he's got a hit. They'll have to battle, though, against Bautista.
.32 home runs, 109 RBIs. Tying run at second. Hard to believe. Adam Lind is the poster boy for resiliency, the ability to come back. Think about last year when he was sent down, his confidence was shot. Now look at him. What a year he has had. Two balls, 2 strikes. There's a base hit. Bautista turns, will come for home, and this game is tied up. 2 strikes. He's dynamite.
He can hit a fastball. Rowan Smith gets nothing out of this. As the tying run scores on another base hit. He tries to come up. It catches too much of the plate. Watch how short his swing is. He stays back behind the ball better than anybody on this team. And the Jays have rallied with 2 runs in the 7th, 2 here in the 8th inning to tie.
After 2 strikeouts, Bautista gives up the 110th RBI of the season for Adam Lind. The go-ahead run at second. Rod Barajas now. Barajas to the gap. This will score Aaron Hill. Here comes Lind. He'll get the stop sign. And Rod Barajas has given the Toronto Blue Jays the lead.
He has come up with some clutch hits this year, and here's another one. Bautista gets it in on him so he can't extend and get it all the way to the wall. That's why only 1 run is going to score. That's Aaron Hill. He'll score easily. Adam Lind running all the way. I thought there might be a chance for him to score, but the ball wasn't hit hard enough. It finds a hole, second and third. The Jays now put 3 on the board and have taken the lead.
5-4 Toronto. Blue Jays trailed this game a 3-zip at one point. Kevin Millar, 2 away. Jays coming all the way back, trying to make this a grand send-off to their fans. Final game of the regular season at home. I'm sure a lot of these 39,052 would like to have seen some of this in those tough summer months. The Blue Jays just couldn't win for losing.
No laying down on this team.
We saw that yesterday, didn't
Yeah. Same thing. 8th inning, 2-run home run. And then an extra innings, a walk-off.
Millar down to Beltre will make the final out, but the Blue Jays rally in a big way with 3 runs here in the 8th inning and a chance now to put it away in the 9th. Adam Lind, key RBI, and Rod Barajas drives in another. We head to the 9th. Find out now if the Blue Jays can actually hang on now and win this ball game. And what, dear sir, is the number one in Tabby's top 10?
It can only be one guy.
There you go.
The number one guy, I think, Roy Halladay. And there were two games that I thought were exceptional. He faced the Los Angeles Angels back in June and had 14 strikeout complete game against the best hitting team at that time. And then followed that up back on September the 4th. The Yankees, the second best hitting team, average-wise in the American League, he gave up one hit. 9 innings, 7 hits, 1 walk, 14 strikeouts in that Angels game, and then beat the Yankees. So Roy Halladay's 2 performances this year, number one on my list for the top 10 plays this season.
And I'm sure many Blue Jay fans hope that Roy Halladay will be on your top 10 list in
Next
2010.
year. That's right.
A lot to be determined before then.
Sean Camp into the game. Jason Frazier threw a couple of innings yesterday. Had 4 strikeouts of the 6 batters that he faced. He has been the closer and he's done a great job, but it's now Sean Camp who has pitched some big innings for Cito Gaston this year, coming in to try and nail this one down.
At Tuiasosopo. What a memorable afternoon for him. His first major league home run came back in the 5th inning. The son of an NFL player. His brother plays in the NFL. 5-4 Blue Jays. And look who's on deck. Blue Jay fans would love to see Ken Griffey in this final game. Why not? He's a legend. And there he goes. Sean Camp strikes out Tuiasosopo. And that also means pizza. 7 strikeouts.
Camp has had a lot of strikeouts this year. He developed a good changeup. This year you go along with that slider, that breaking pitch, and a fastball that runs in. He gets the all-important first batter of the inning.
I cannot think of a guy in this last decade and the years that he has played that been a true pro than this man, Ken Griffey Jr. Might be his last game in Toronto. Chance for these fans to watch Griffey Jr. He's done this many times before. Come in to pinch hit, taking somebody deep. Here's the 0-1.
He has had great numbers here at Rogers Center. You take away some of the places that he has played, Safeco Field and the Kingdome and in Cincinnati. This is the 3rd best home run park in his career. He has hit 15 home runs here.
Doesn't quite have the same pop he once had, but had he been healthy through the years, that assault on the Hank Aaron mark. And a base hit for Griffey Jr. An untainted assault as well.
Right. Can still get the head out when you need to. They'll probably pinch run for him.
They'll probably get a good ovation here too from the fans. Fans here appreciate a great ball player. That's what he has been. This game far from over right now. 1-run ball game. Pinch runner in. Michael Saunders at first. And Ichiro, who is due. 0 for 3. Got hit by a pitch. And maybe 2 here to end this. Will they get it? No. Ichiro safe.
I was just going to say, if you're going to get a double play, that's very rare. He's only had 1 grounded into double play this year with that great speed. It's got to be one of those line drive short hops to the second baseman where they turn it. This would hit too softly to Hill, but they wipe out the guy in the middle of the diamond. They get that lead runner, which is important. And Suzuki, with that great speed, will beat it easily.
Mariners down to their last out, but tying runs at first. The speedy Ichiro. Franklin Gutierrez at the plate. He had a home run earlier.
And Sean Camp looking to become the 6th different reliever to earn a save this year for the Blue Jays. Jason Frazier leads with 10. Scott Downs has 9. We've seen saves from B.J. Ryan, Jeremy Accardo, and Casey Jansen.
The Blue Jays season, no matter how they finish it out, they're going to be below 500. Hardly what the Blue Jays had anticipated back in April and May, but the season of lows. This would be a high here today. Final game of the regular season at home. If they can hang on and give these fans some hope for next year.
Yes.
That's what baseball is. Baseball's hope. Unfortunately for the Blue Jays, that word has been used a lot over the last 16 years.
Too many times. Gutierrez choking up on that bat. Now with 2 outs.
It's been a crazy ball game. Brian Talla giving up 3 home runs. Mariners led 3-0. Then 4-2, and the Blue Jays with 3 in the 8th, trying to seal it here. And now a strike away.
How about that frisbee slider that he has? Fans are into it. We're into it.
It'll be a nice way to say goodbye to your fans.
There is that slider. Held on to it just a little bit too long.
We'll get the noise going again here. Roy Halladay. We've said it many times. Is this the last time we see him in a Blue Jay uniform at Rogers Center? 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 out. Looking to end it. Vernon Wells makes the catch. What a comeback. What a nice way to say goodbye to your faithful.
That has